Top of the morning, top of the morning. Welcome back. Hope we're all having a fantastic day so far. I know I am. It is an absolutely beautiful day here in La Quinta, California. We never get days this nice this time of year. It's not even 100 degrees outside. So, of course, I can't complain one bit. Also thought we're about that time again where we are just due for another What's in My Humidor video. I'll probably be honest, this one's not going to be as exciting as some of the others, right? This is not some insane Opus X lineup. This is not some larger humidor that I've curated for other members of my family or friends. It's nothing really like that. These are going to be very simple cigars that I'm sure you're very familiar with. And honestly, this is something I consider to be a daily driver humidor. I understand daily driver is different for just about everyone, but I think as a good rule of thumb, most people consider a daily driver cigar something that is consistent, right? It's very reliable, it's readily available. You can find this just about anywhere, and a price for you that doesn't break the bank. Budget is an open-ended term that is completely different for everyone. What's budget for you might not be budget for your neighbor and might not be budget for me. That's just kind of how it goes. But I will explain the madness. So, a lot of you follow me on Instagram, some other places as well. Padrones, that is my go-to daily driving cigar. Here's why we run into a problem right off the bat with me saying that. Most Padrones are going to be north of $20 US. So for most people, that just doesn't make any sense to be a daily driving cigar. I think it also depends how many cigars a day you smoke, because I have noticed people that do smoke, 6, 7 cigars a day. Those are usually the bundle crowd. Usually. Again, it's just kind of a good rule of thumb. But I usually smoke on average 1 cigar a day, just 1. And sometimes I don't smoke any cigars for that day. It just depends what I have going on. On a really, laid back day and I'm really trying to enjoy myself, the max, and I mean the max, is going to be about 3 cigars. So that's kind of why I can reason. Maybe some of these are a little bit nicer, but for the most part, this is just something that I consider dailies. I've dailied all these cigars for a long time. It's just a little bit of a variety in here. So I like, switch it up a little bit. But again, these cigars, I have smoked a million times. I know what to expect. And it's real easy for me just to kind of come in here and pick a cigar based on what amount of time I'm trying to spend outside. So we'll go ahead and get into it and I'll explain every cigar and kind of why it's in here. Start off with these little guys right here. Aganorsa Leaf. Somehow, as big as this company is, they still seem to fly under the radar a bit. They're very consistent. They're very reliable. They're good people. I can't think of anything negative to say about this company. I mean, they have a pretty big portfolio, but there's only like a very small handful of products that I personally don't care for. And this is certainly not one of them. I love the entire Aniversario line. And when I say the entire line, I don't care if it's the Connecticut or these Maduros. They are absolutely incredible. Again, you're getting back to that consistent. It's dependable. I know what I'm getting every time. It's smooth, right? And it's a pretty versatile cigar. That's another huge thing with these cigars. My daily cigars kind of need to be just that. My mood changes every day. So some days I want to drink something, that's maybe like a tequila. Some days I want more of a whiskey. Some days I just want sparkling lime water, right? Whatever it is, I need to make sure I have a cigar that's appropriate for that. And having one of these in here is just kind of that. Like I can enjoy this cigar with a lot of different beverages. Love those. The New World AJ Fernandez. I posted a lot about these lately on the YouTube channel. So most of it's obviously shorts, but these are cigars that if you want to say daily driver, I think we would probably all mostly agree, like no matter who watches this video, that the AJ Fernandez New World is the definition of a fantastic daily option. You're talking consistency, it's reliable. You can find these in like any humidor in America. I don't know if I've ever gone in someone's walk-in humidor and they didn't have at least one option for the New World. You know what I mean? This is an incredible cigar. I am blown away every time I smoke one of these with the experience I'm getting for the price. It's just insane. So the AJ Fernandez New World, definitely a daily option. Again, multiple different sizes, but I just really like this size. Love the box press. Absolutely incredible. If we were being more realistic for the average person on what a good daily cigar is, you should really focus on some AJ Fernandez products, because that's going to make a whole lot more sense for the average Joe. The Diamond Crown Connecticut's, man. Love the rebranding that they did. They didn't change the cigar at all. I made sure of that. Absolutely incredible. Fantastic morning smoke. This was the morning cup of coffee cigar for a very long time. So smooth. One of the longest aged Connecticut's we have in the shop. I think these wrappers are aged over 5 years. Absolutely incredible. So many companies that make a Connecticut cigar refuse to age them for an extended period of time. I'm not sure if that's because they just don't age as well. I mean, I've had good luck aging some Connecticut's, but I think it's really just most new people smoke Connecticut's. They're still developing their palate, and these companies just don't feel like sitting on a product for years just to give it to someone that doesn't have a developed palate, and they're not going to know the difference anyway. I think it might be something like that. But phenomenal cigar, smooth, reliable, dependable, and honestly, anything from JC Newman. Love the company, love the people. We need more people like that in the industry for sure. So, got a couple of those. Ashton Aged Maduro. This is that little Corona. Nothing too crazy. Definitely a smaller smoke. To be honest, probably one of the more mild options as well for my Maduros. This really, although they usually look pretty dark, if you're someone that was thinking about getting into Maduros, but you're like, I don't really want to get wrecked, this is the absolute go-to. If you've never had a Maduro, start here. Just start with the Ashton Aged Maduro, work your way down. This is an excellent introductory into Maduro cigars. You're going to get the flavor of a Maduro, but without that punch. The Julius freaking Caesar. This is probably my most daily cigar of all time, because the flavor you're getting with this Habano wrapper is unlike anything I've experienced with other Habano cigars. This actually has, for me personally, like a very espresso chocolatey note to it. Just absolutely incredible. And I've always enjoyed this cigar. Again, none of these JC Newman products break the bank at all. They're just so incredible. I love this guy. This was one of the first... No, that's not right. I was going to say it's one of the first like premium cigars I had, but that's just not true. But it's one of the first ones that really stood out to where I was like, I can understand what makes these so special. I will always have the Julius Caesar in my daily humidor 100% of the time. You can count on that. Pigs, Liga Privada. This is definitely when you're going to start, I'm probably going to get some squawking about this. Liga Privada as a daily cigar option is absolutely not feasible for most people. It just isn't. Again, this is kind of when, it's the advantage I have of owning a cigar shop where I have a better access to some of these products. Otherwise, I can promise you, like before I owned a cigar shop and I was on the other side of the counter, if you want to talk to me about dailying the Liga Privada, absolutely not. I would have not even listened to you one bit about that. But I love the size of these. Still a 60 ring, I'm pretty sure, but it just the burn on these and the flavor. This is something that's just incredible for me. I love Ligas. I mean, most of you already knew that, but hey, got to drive that point home. Number 9, some T52 pigs. Such exquisite craftsmanship. I mean, these things are just beautiful cigars, man. And I know some people say they've changed over the years. Yeah, they have, but honestly, what hasn't? And it's still an incredible cigar. For me, I can still reason daily driving this cigar. Obviously it's not something I smoke every day, but I don't feel guilty if I go and pull this out, and I start smoking it. Some other people might. Tabernacle. This is the Havana Seed 142. Any of the Havana Seeds are great. Any of the broadleafs are great. Anything Tabernacle is great. Also, I'm sure a lot of you know as well, I am a huge advocate for foundation products. Absolutely love the company, love how they operate, love the products, love just everything about them, man. I cannot say enough good things about Foundation. Really hope they just kind of maintain course. I know they've had some setbacks this year, but I know they're working hard, they're working through it, and we're going to stand by them that whole time for sure. Freaking phenomenal products, and definitely a price point where you can reason making this a daily for sure. YouTube's been weird. I cannot really get into price too much, so I do apologize for that. I would give you the exact down to the penny cost on all of these and tell you where to get them. I can't do either of those things. So that'll probably lead me into a very small, short, quick rant at the very end about some of my plans for how to kind of make content that's tobacco related and make it a little more accessible to everyone without getting striked. So I'll talk about that at the end. Tatuaje. Love Pete Johnson, love the company. These are cigars I've enjoyed for an extremely long time. I will say, I will be honest, right? I never want to air anyone out or say anything negative, but there have definitely been some consistency issues the last few months that I've noticed with these products. Not sure why. They're usually very consistent, very reliable. Again, phenomenal price points for the quality you usually get. But man, they have completely changed several of the blends for some of the cigars that I got used to. Same thing with my old man. He was enjoying the Gran Cajonu for, I'm talking years. And then they completely changed that cigar. And now it's so different to where he doesn't even like it. And we don't even stock the cigar anymore. So, but yeah, most of the other Tatuaje products, really solid. All the brown labels and stuff like that, again, rock solid, right? But yeah, you definitely have been running into more consistency issues. But hey, regardless, at the end of the day, I still love Tatuaje. We're still stocking them. Sometimes you just have little hiccups here and there. It's no big deal. And I have no problem still standing by these guys while they just kind of work through some kinks. At least that's what it seems like on my end, that they just have some issues. But for the most part, you're good to go for the most part. So yeah, I got a couple of those. I got more tots kind of under there, but I try to organize everything by size too. Doesn't this just look a little bit cleaner than trying to just categorize all your cigars? So, and again, this is just how I lay out my humidors. And this is all just for not even educational. I mean, it is some educational, but mostly just entertainment purposes, So I just really want to show something that's aesthetically pleasing. When I open the lid to my humidor, I just kind of want to know what I'm looking at, and I can real easily just go and pick a cigar that's appropriate for that time frame that I want to spend outside. Undercrown. So, I like Liga Privada, so why would I not like the Undercrown? If you were going to try to daily a Liga Privada or something, I would say maybe try with the Undercrown first, because at least you're still going to get a phenomenal cigar, but substantially cheaper in price. Again, still a phenomenal cigar. Definitely something you could probably reason making a daily a little bit more, but love the Undercrowns. This is a great smoke. Always loved it. Meat Lovers. Dunbarton's good stuff too. Always keep a few Dunbarton sticks around. The Meat Lovers is awesome. It's still another all Liga cigar. Again, little bit more budget friendly, but again, Dunbarton, they're not known for budget friendly. That's not Steve Saka's jam. But you do get unparalleled quality still for the price you're paying. So I'll never argue about that. These little box press, I think these are the filet mignons. Yeah, little Robustos, really good smokes. Red Meat Lovers, meant to be paired with a steak dinner, but I've smoked these any way you can imagine, and they're still appropriate for any time. And really not as heavy as you would think. They're pretty medium, honestly. Encore Black, definitely something where someone's going to be like, how in the world is this a daily? It's really not, but again, owning a shop and getting several boxes, I always kind of cherry pick a few, different sticks out, regardless of what comes in, right? So this, I'm not worried about aging it. It's already been pretty well aged. It's a great cigar right when you pick it up. So that's kind of why I just threw one in the daily box. I'm just like, hey, I'll just throw one in here and I'll smoke it soon. And it just, again, switches things up a little bit. I'm always going to smoke a good cigar no matter what. That's the thing. When I reserve my time, my pleasure is worth a whole lot more than $2 or $3. And again, that's just for me personally. I want to enjoy a really nice cigar, no matter what. So I always don't mind throwing in something just a little bit more special, because again, it's not like I'm just 20 of these in here and I'm just burning these back to back. You know, it's nothing like that. It just spices up the variety a little bit. Olmec, more foundation. My favorite foundation product of all time. Love the Olmecs. I don't care if it's the Claro. I don't care if it's like this Maduro. I really don't care about the size. Any Olmec is a great cigar. I've had other San Andreas options. I don't know what it is really about this cigar, but it is absolutely incredible. Very consistent, never have to fuss with it. And again, unbeatable price for the quality you're getting. There's a gentleman that comes in, definitely supports the channel as well. Ivan, I appreciate you, sir. He made us really cool, like 3D printed Olmec heads, super sick. I know he appreciates anything Olmec. Always appreciate it, sir. And I know he also kind of filled me in that some places, you know, they definitely will get a little bit more up there as what you would expect in price. You know, most people are not used to seeing these around $20, especially north of that. So I guess on some rare occasion, someone will kind of mark these up. But for the most part, this is a very budget-friendly smoke. Absolutely phenomenal. If I could, I would probably keep a few more of these in here. But again, I don't want to get burnt on this cigar. I really don't want to get burnt on the Olmecs. I enjoy it too much. Padrones, we will rip through the Padrones because I've already done a Padron Humidor tour. You know, that is my absolute go-to. You see it blown up on my Instagram all the time. Like, I just smoke a lot of Padrones. I have for a long time. I currently still do, and I likely will for the foreseeable future. They just do it for me. It's the best drawing cigar. I don't care that they're 20 bucks. I know that anytime I light this up, flavor's going to be great. The draw is going to be great. It's not going to unravel on me. Nothing, right? It's just a fantastic cigar. And I just do not care that it's a few dollars more than some of the other cigars in here. I just really don't. Damaso, phenomenal medium-bodied sun-grown Connecticut. I love the Damasos. I usually have more of those in here. I usually have more Damasos. You can smoke the cigar any time of day, I swear. Maybe not if you're new to cigars, but if you're pretty familiar with cigars, you can have this guy any time of day and you can make it work. Number 6 is one of my favorite sizes. Also, it's a little bit of a different blend than like the 64s. I do like these guys. Again, switches it up just a little bit. Good, still box press. A little smaller smoke, a little smaller size. Not as small as like the 35s I usually smoke, but they're still pretty manageable. Exclusivos, beautiful Maduro Exclusivos. Can never have too many Padrones in your daily driving humidor. I think if you can afford it and it makes sense and you're not being irresponsible, if you can get by with it, there's really no competition for a better daily driving cigar than the Padron, if I'm just being honest. Pairings, the overall experience, the name recognition, the simplicity, it's just a beautiful cigar. Some number 9s, just a bigger version of the 6. Still a manageable size. More Tots, Capa Especial. Definitely more of an inconsistent cigar. That's kind of why I have a couple more of them in here. I really just want to kind of see what they're about because they seem to be different every time I smoke them. So I want to get it to a point where I have a better idea of what the actual cigar is usually like. It's been a fun little experiment. I'll keep burning through them. I know a lot of people aren't really familiar with these specific Tatuaje products, but they're pretty darn solid. Part of the hunt, man. Part of the hunt. You're going to get some inconsistencies, and if it's a cigar you're not worried about aging, you don't care too much about it, throw it in your daily humidor. Torpedo, Maduro Padron, the 64. This is just the truest classic Padron. So old school, so traditional. Just a beautiful cigar. This is definitely something, I can't believe I only have one in here. It's a phenomenal cigar. Another cigar I dailied for an incredibly long time. The Casa Cuba Double Trace. So basically like a Corona kind of. Just a really easygoing size. I just love the flavor. They're overall kind of more mild for me, but just delicious. They have like this molasses and roasted peanut note. It's just fantastic. And again, it's crazy because a lot of other people don't get that from this cigar, But man, that is really what I get a lot of. So I still, you know, I keep these guys around. So many. Absolutely fantastic. Fantastic smoke. Something a little longer. I don't smoke a lot of Churchills, but occasionally I will just smoke like one Wicked Churchill. So the Padron Diplomatico fits that bill just fine. Most people don't smoke Churchills or double Coronas or anything like that. It's just not something that makes sense for them. But for me, I like just having the option. You know, these have been in here for a little bit, but I will get around to them here pretty soon. A little bit bigger Padrones. Those number 4s are hogs. This is definitely a size I don't smoke too often, but there's a reason I have this and the Diplomatico in like pairs, because this is a great option that if I do have a friend come over or if I'm going somewhere and I just want us to sit down and talk for a bit and just enjoy the day, these are more appropriate cigars, right? Longer burn time, still fantastic. But for me smoking it just on my own here at the house, maybe not. Maybe not, but still an appropriate daily driver, right? If I just need to run out, it's not some crazy special occasion, I just want to hang out with a friend, boom, it's a good cigar, simple occasion. Natural Imperial, just something a little bit smaller than that 4 and also a little bit more mild. Again, just for the variety aspect. Probably the priciest cigar in here, to be honest with you. The Padron 45-year, I will agree, this is not on any level a daily driving cigar, but again, it's just the one in here. You know, I have a whole bunch of these. I have a ton of Padrones that I've been aging, and this is just something that, again, just to spice it up a little bit, I'll throw it in here. Phenomenal. Phenomenal cigar. Favorite Aniversario from Padron is that 45. It's really good. The 85 is good. The 50 is good, but this 45, absolutely incredible. I guess you could say the 60, but you're really hard-pressed to get the 60 anymore. Like, you really, this is about the only one you can find that is really, really nice. The 80 year is good. I like the 80 year, but I've honestly gotten a little bit burnt on that, to be honest with you. It's also why I don't like smoking the same cigar all the time. I need to like switch it up a little bit. Another Toro Damaso, nothing crazy. I guess I do have another Encore Black in here. That's my bad. Diamond Crowns, man. More Diamond Crowns. Perfect morning cup of coffee smoke, no question. Supreme Leaf, more Aganorsa stuff. Biggest reason I have this in here, again, the Supreme Leaf is definitely a lot more rare, definitely a lot harder to find. I have been fortunate enough to hide some of these back. Most of them are getting aged, but this has a phenomenal malt note that is really hard for me to find in most cigars. So that's kind of why I keep one of these on hand. It's got this like peanut butter malt kind of quality to it. So delicious, so delicious. Because this is like a blend that comes out once a year. It usually changes a little bit. So I haven't been able to find another year's blend that replicated as closely to this. So delicious, so delicious. And this is one of those things where I've been sitting on them for a while, but I do know that I just need to smoke these and kind of get over it. Like, there's always going to be new ones coming out. I'll probably like the next year's one better, who knows. More Ligas, right? Always got to have Ligas. Again, price point, definitely not, for most people, a feasible daily option, but I do have a decent kind of access entry point to these, so I'm not too worried about it. But the H99's fantastic. Love the Corojos, the T52s. You know, it depends on the day. Sometimes the T52s can rival the 9s and the H99s for me, but the H99, as far as flavor, definitely my favorite. The T52, I can just find more of, and they're a little bit cheaper, but really, T52, it's these 9s. The 9 is always the go-to for everyone, so I usually do try to haul more of these kind of back to the house. But really, I mean, any Liga, you're just never going to go wrong. It's a Liga, man. So yeah, more 9s. You got the standard Parejo and then like a little bit of a Bellicoso. And of course, you know, if I see cigars with damage, I'll also throw them in here, because why am I going to sit on something for years if it's damaged, you know? And these Ligas do have a tendency to show up when you open the box. There's like going to be 4 or 5 of them in the box that have cracked feet. So I'll just pull those out and kind of smoke those myself. So it's like, you know, it's not like I'm picking like the choicest ones and I'm just going to smoke those. Like, what am I going to do with these anyway? I don't want to sell these to someone, you know, if they got cracked feet. Yeah, you can smoke it just fine, but that's not the kind of experience I want you to have at the shop where you're like, oh, Seth sold me a bunch of like cracked cigars. What, you know, what a tool. So Magnum Rosados, these guys are great. Way heavier than what you would expect. I gotta say, this really, like when I first smoked one, I'm like, it's Dominican, doesn't look that heavy. Man, I had like no food on the stomach. It was a pretty hot day. I had to sit down. I was like, whoa, was not expecting this. But again, this like very smooth, sweet finish, like a caramel molasses kind of note. Awesome. Absolutely love that. Definitely had more flavor than most other Dominican products I've tried. So, and they're again, more budget friendly. And I mean actually budget friendly, right? Not like the Ligas or the Rare Padron or anything. So, yeah. And readily available. Get those anytime, almost anywhere. More Casa Cubas. This, you know, okay, the double dose, it is a more rare allocated item, but you can still find this just fine, and it's still not like a crazy priced option, you know what I mean? So, and it's a cool like Lancero, kind of. So, I enjoy these guys a lot. Anything Casa Cuba. I think, to be honest, Casa Cubas, the Tatuaje, the Diamond Crowns, like that's stuff that you can really truly make a case for. The Julius Caesar, like those are real daily options. Phenomenal quality for a price that surely most people could justify. And my final thoughts, man, all reliable. When I was first like chain smoking Padrones, I'm not going to lie, I was being really irresponsible and I was spending way more money than what I should have on the Padrones, but I was newer to the hobby like so many of you were, and you're just so excited trying all these different cigars. And eventually one of the guys, Palm Desert Tobacco, back when they were open, Bert was like, you know, Seth, you are really young. 'Cause at the time I was like 17, right? So he's just like, you really shouldn't be spending all your money on like Padrones, you know? And I was like, dude, like these are clearly the best you have in here. Like, I'm just going to smoke this. He's like, well, don't look so much at the name. Let me give you something else. And he gave me a tot. I don't remember the exact Tatuaje stick, I'll be honest. But once I ventured into the Cajonus, I was like, all right, I can definitely get behind this. You're talking like half the price and still reliable, still consistent, amazing flavor, does well with pairings. Like, because obviously like this is the broadleaf. I have a Sumatra as well, but these broadleafs, so awesome. Absolutely phenomenal. They have several, right? They have a Habano that's okay. I just like these guys a lot more, way more flavor, way more punch. You know, I can do anything I want to with these cigars, right? So you've got broadleaf, Habano, and then the one lonely Sumatra left. We'll definitely be throwing more of these in here. So, but that is it. That is it. That's all she wrote. Another Humidor video, and of course with the Diamond Crown Humidor, because you know that's how I roll most of the time. If you're interested in trying to find like a really good Diamond Crown Humidor, which is mostly what I use, I will definitely leave that information in the description of this video. But yeah, that is all there is, guys. That's a clean, simple, well put together daily driving humidor. Again, just for me personally, you know, I would never expect to see a lot of these products in maybe someone else's daily driving humidor. But you guys have seen some of the other cigars I smoke. This is just some of the things I consider to be good dailies, you know. So, and real quick before we leave, I will just kind of mention, yes, I'm sure some of you have noticed even other cigar YouTubers are having issues with YouTube. They're really cracking down, but they're cracking down in a inconsistent way. They are using AI for literally everything, and so some of my videos will get striked even though they completely follow the guidelines. And if you go to reach out to them, they just say, hey, we'll do a further investigation, which just means they'll use more AI, and then you're getting met with another like generic response from some fake bot from YouTube talking about kind of how, oh, you know, this violates our guidelines. I'm like, no, it doesn't. I've read your guidelines and I made sure that it doesn't. So likely what I'm going to end up doing, I am going to try to switch people over to maybe a live streaming service like Twitch or Kick, and I'll just kind of see how that does. Kick is way more forgiving and supportive of tobacco products. I could do Rumble. There's some people that do Rumble, but I'll be honest with you, guys, no one No one uses Rumble. No one. Your audience is going to be freaking 18 people, and I am not going through all that trouble to have 18 viewers on freaking Rumble. So I'm sure it works for other people. I've seen, some other cigar YouTubers go that route, but dude, I don't think so. Like, I can't do that. So I'm probably going to do Twitch or Kick, and we'll just kind of do more of like Q&A stuff and all that. I'm probably going to do live streams inside the Humidor where I just set the camera up and it kind of watches like just the daily interactions of like what's going on in the Humidor. So it'll be like me helping customers, me restocking stuff, organizing, like all that, you know what I mean? Because I think that's going to be the best way for me to get people education, show them what we have without like YouTube freaking out on me for literally nothing. So, but that's it, man. Just easy daily smokes. Get yourself some Caesars, get yourself some Casa Cubas, but most importantly, you need to enjoy your cigars. Doesn't matter what any dude on the internet has in his humidor. It doesn't matter what shop he owns. It doesn't matter who he works for. You need to have cigars that work for your budget and your palate and make sense to you in your humidor. Doesn't matter if it's a plastic bag with a humidity pack and you've got 4 of your favorite cigars in there, or you have a giant Racing 5,000 count humidor. It doesn't matter. But that's the whole point of the hobby. You got to do what's right for you and what makes sense for you. Don't let anyone tell you how to smoke your cigar. But thank you so much. You guys enjoy the rest of your day. I'm about to go smoke a stick right now. I'll probably pick something out of here. I don't know yet. But you guys take care, and we will see you in the next one.